Hello, everyone, and we are live here with Live Reality Games to discuss the premiere of the Victory House Mole Season 3. We are so excited. I am one of your two lovely hosts, Drew, and I will be joined here every week by my co-host, Zach. Zach, how are you today?
I'm doing well. How are you, Drew?
I'm thriving. This was a great episode to kick off the season and can't wait to talk about it with you and our guest for this week, Brent.
Hey, you guys. How you doing?
Hi, Brent.
Hi, Brent.
I said, hey, and then I realized I wasn't on screen yet. But yes. Hey, what's up? I am excited to be here. I have loved watching Carlo and the gang do their version of the mole on YouTube since last year when I discovered it. I'm just a guest for tonight, but I wanted to be here to give hopefully give it a good push off and let some people know who may not already know about the mole by Victory House to tune in and watch because it's a pretty cool freaking show.
Yeah,
Yes,
so let's talk a little bit before we actually jump in about our experiences with the moles. For me personally, I have watched the US seasons and I've watched the Australian seasons, but I went into the Victory House mole completely blind. I did not see season 1 or season 2, so this was a new experience for me, and seeing the format that they use as compared to the original mole and some of the twists that they throw in is very interesting to me. What about you guys? What are your experiences with the mole?
Well, I did not watch The Mole until actually recently. I was asked to be a part of production for the Michigan Mole. So I quickly started watching some episodes of the US Mole and then obviously had to dive into Victory House as soon as I found out about it. So yeah, that is my experience.
Excellent. Well, I actually didn't really care for the first 2 seasons of The Mole on U.S. television. I'm 46, so the fact that I've lived long enough, I was there during the era when this was all happening. But when Kathy Griffin and company came for Celebrity Mole Hawaii season 1, that was everything. And I still remember the moment when Frederic walked out as the mole at the end of that season. I was absolutely blown away because I wasn't like into all the clues. And like I realize now, like if you look for the clues, you can figure it out, especially toward the end of the season. But I didn't know that then. So when they revealed Frederic as the mole and then on to season 2 of Celebrity Mole, when again it was another supermodel, like I was just like, these people are crazy. And they were nuts. And watching Corbin and Steven. So then I went back and watched like season 1 and season 2 of the regular mole. And then the other guy, not Anderson Cooper, the other guy brought back the mole onto ABC, and they had like a season, but it was okay, whatever. But then when I found Carlo and company doing their version of the mole I came on in season 2. I didn't watch season 1. And the thing about Carlo and company is they do a lot of meta references with their own universe of stuff, like talking about people that were in season 1. But I'm like, I didn't watch season 1. So I don't know this Jessica bitch. I don't know who she is. Why is everyone, people are clapping for her? Why are they clapping for her? I got no clue, but it was really, really fun. And I got into it very quickly. I think I started watching because Taylor St. Louis, who I knew through Sequester, was on season 2 of The Mole, and she was actually out very quick during season 2. And I was kind of hoping they brought her back for season 3 because I knew they were going to bring back some vets, but not so much. We got Joel though; that's cool. Parker,
We did.
yes, and a couple other people from season 1 who I'm excited to get to know.
Yes, I cannot wait to talk about this cast because we have lots of characters on this season. I guess before we actually get into the tasks, we should talk about the cast and our first impressions. Like I said, I went in completely blind to this season. I did not look at any preseason, anything. I went in completely blind. So us meeting the cast on the show was my first time seeing the cast, aside from the one person on the cast who I had experienced before. But so I think...
Who was that? You can't just leave us hanging. Oh, okay.
Lance. And I believe Lance is the first person we meet in the episode, correct?
Yes, he is. Yes.
So what do we think about Lance?
Lance, I mean, at first I was glad as we went along that it didn't turn into the Lance show because the fact that he was introduced first, and then he had some antics at the beginning. I really thought it was going to be the Lance show, but then for my money, it quickly became the Michelle show. So because I love Michelle. So I was glad that we got a more balanced edit from the people who are doing the show. Lance was everything that I expected him to be. He's a veteran of reality TV. I watched him on Big Brother Columbus. I watched him on a few other shows. Like I watched him on Sequester. Like Lance is there to turn the party, have a great time, and be remembered. If he wins along the way, so be it. But he really, honestly, I think he'd give two shits about the money at this point. I'm really excited that the money is a bigger factor this season than it was last year, because that was my biggest qualm of season 2 that I literally wrote to them about was like, these people get to the end and there's like, $2 and a bucket of spit at the end. Like, what are you doing? Like, there has to be some reason why people get to the end. So I was glad that along the way they got to accumulate money. I think they have almost more money at the end of episode 1 than they had at the end of the entirety of season 2. So that is to be commended. Yeah,
Zach, we can't hear you. I don't know. But I was actually going to say about the money. I like that the prize fund is so big. I think they said they could win up to $1,000. But honestly, I don't know that particularly matters, because getting to know each of these players, it doesn't seem like many of them care about the money. Most of them are just there to be conniving and play the game and make it to the end, which is good to hear, I guess.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's okay. I think Sabrina was excited to win the money. Sabrina was the one person. She's like, because she's been around the bend. She's had her fun. She's already won reality TV before. So she's like, you know what? I'm here for the money. I'm here for business. So I can respect that. Zach, go ahead and say something. I want to see if we can hear.
Hello,
something.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I think stop fiddling with your mic because it keeps making all these scratching sounds.
Sorry.
Yes, there we go. Okay, so go ahead and say what you're trying to say. If we were talking about the people who were there for the money or people who were there for the fame or the fun.
Yes, definitely. I agree with what you said about Lance, and definitely Sabrina is there. I mean, she's got a wedding to pay for. I know we always say that, but she's got that wedding to pay for, and that's money. So
exactly.
I love Sabrina. She's the next person I have written down, and I just put confident and emotionally smart. I've never seen her in anything before. I don't typically watch a lot of the fan-made shows, but I love Sabrina. Anything else that she's in now, I'm kind of, maybe I should watch that, because I had a great first impression of Sabrina, and you can tell that she's very calculated, which I like. She's very collected with herself.
Yeah, so Sabrina was on Big Brother Columbus season 7. She was on the Totem Pole, which I think is now called the Penthouse season 3, I want to say. Who was it? Was it Michelle or somebody else who was talking about Sabrina and how she gets to the end of every game she plays?
Yeah,
to get her out. I'm telling you, there was a little bit that when Lance was getting into trouble and he said something about like, well, this isn't Big Brother. Y'all can't vote me off. I'm like, last year there was a Big Brother round. So I wouldn't necessarily say that and tempt the mole gods, Lance.
Exactly.
If there is a voting round, I wouldn't want to be Lance, and I sure wouldn't want to be Sabrina, because those two people I would fear the most in this game.
Yes, and totally coming agree. From the Michigan Mole, where she won the Michigan Mole. So again, making it to the end of every game that she plays, there's a reason for that. She's extremely calculated, and she knows what she's doing.
Yes, I thought that there was a possibility that they could select her to be the mole, just because the mole gets to the end and she gets to the end of everything she does. Sure. So it's like it wouldn't look out of the ordinary. But then again,
I do have that wrote down.
Mm-hmm. And we'll get to it. But like, she did the matching quiz, and I'm sorry, she's way too smart not to get a perfect score and let Stacy get a perfect score on that. So yeah,
we will definitely get to that.
Yes.
Okay, the next person I have written down is Joel, and I have 2 words written beside Joel's name. I have returner and LBS.
Little booty syndrome.
Yes, that was everything. I actually rewatched the episode today, and the fact when they came on later on in the episode with, in the arms of an angel, and like, can you donate to the Little Booty Fund? Can you help people like Joel? Oh, like that was really great. I'm glad the editors had some fun with that, because that was a lot of fun. I will say, let me just say from the start that I really think I want to commend Carlo and company, because last year, and I think this is a symptom of the house, it was very hard for me to get to know who the fuck. I mean, like, girls, I didn't know who Peaches was from until the 3rd episode. I think I met Audrey in the 4th episode. Like, I didn't know who these people were, because I really didn't get a chance to know them. And like, there's so much moving around, and they were going through the town in the 1st episode. I mean, when people are moving around, it's hard to keep track of who's with who, because they're always changing groups. The fact that we got to meet everybody like one-on-one, they were in their little groups in the house in a stationary position, and they were in little tight groups of 3 and 4 where we knew, okay, like Sabrina did the matching quiz, Stacy did the matching quiz, Lance did the marble balance thing. Like it was better and easier to compartmentalize in my head, okay, like this is who this is, this is who this is. Honestly, if you showed me all 14 people and asked me to identify them, I could do that now.
Yes.
I could not do that in season 2.
I agree. And having not seen season 2, I don't know how this compares to that, but I feel like I was worried going in that I would not know everybody because, you know, obviously fan-made shows, editing can be wonky. Professional-made shows, editing is wonky. But I feel like I know everybody, and I honestly like everybody. I don't know if there's anyone that I don't like, but I guess we'll continue that.
Anybody I don't like? I don't know.
Well, the next person I have written down is Parker, and the first thing I have written down was don't like him, but then I crossed it out and written love the chaos.
So Zach, what do you think of Parker? Because I don't know if you watched season 2, but we didn't get to see a lot of Parker in season 2.
Correct. So that I have played in org with Parker, and I enjoy playing games with Parker. And I was sad to see him go early on season 2. So I was happy to see him come back season 3, and looks like he'll be sticking around hopefully a little bit longer than he did last time. So
yes, this is what I was talking about before, because when Parker was eliminated in season 2, I was like, who is that? Like, I really had no idea who he was. I really didn't. So, like, I didn't feel anything for him because I didn't know who he was. But this time around, obviously, I know who he is, and I'm excited to see him back. I was also excited to see, like, the people who were eliminated first, especially, they were gung-ho to try to win as much money as they could because of the twists of the first episode, which we'll get to. But yes. I was excited to see that.
Yeah, I love Parker. I think he brings this, like, chaotic, schemy energy, and I feel like he's going to have all these plans, and half of them are going to misfire, and he's going to get himself in trouble, and it's going to be great. Really excited for that.
Right, when they introduced him and he had his little confessional, he was like, well, what I did wrong last time, well, of the many things that I did wrong last time, I'm like, that sounds more apt.
All right, up next, Nathan. I really like Nathan. I feel like he has a good vibe. I feel like he's going to be a social player. I don't know why. These are just like impressions that I'm getting. But I feel like Nathan's going to be a good social player, and I really enjoy Nathan. Nathan might be one of my favorites on the cast.
I also put that he seems fun. Working in ministry, he said that he can use that to cozy up and get the information. So he might be able to use that to his advantage, because I know that's a tactic of many others.
Cool. Nathan, obviously, I love, because I watched him on Big Brother Columbus season 7 as well. That was the first Big Brother Columbus season that I got introduced to. I'm trying to remember like why I started watching that. There was a reason why I started watching that. I think there was somebody on there that I knew, and then I watched it, and he got to the end of that show, and I had a great time with him and all of the people on Big Brother Columbus season 7. It was actually a really well-produced season, if I'm saying so. But Nathan was a lot of fun, and he isn't lying. He worked very closely with Sabrina on that season of Big Brother. So if you're looking for a coalition early, it has to be those two.
I agree. I like that duo. Those are two of my favorite people on the cast. No shade to anybody else, but sorry, those are the faves early on.
Your faves just to be faves, or your faves to win?
Not to win. I have absolutely no idea who's a favorite to win right now.
Okay. I mean, I'd be shocked if Sabrina doesn't get to the end, just because she always does. But
we'll see. Next, what about Dre? What are our thoughts on Dre?
This is his first live reality game. Yes. And he said he wants to be remembered. So I think he's part of the other Jersey bro. Somebody said like the Jersey brothers. So
yeah, that was Nathan. He called them the Jersey bros, Josh and Dre.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
But we got to know him a little bit more as the episode went on. The thing about Dre is that he said some people are here to make reality TV and some people are here to be reality TV, and I am the latter. And I can respect that. Like, there's not a ton of money when you go on a show like this. You want to have a good time. You want to make good TV, and you want to have a great time, and you want to let whatever your inner self is that you have inside of you, you want to let it out. Like when I was on Sequester season 4, I wasn't anything more than what I am in real life. It's just that I let myself be everything that I normally am, and I didn't hold back. And I think that's what Dre is trying to do here. He just does what he wants to make sure that he doesn't hold back. And if that's what he can do, I think he'll call that a success, no matter if he wins or loses.
Yeah. I did like that comment from Dre about being reality TV. I didn't get much of an impression of Dre. I'm definitely interested to see more of him next episode because I didn't get much. I didn't feel much either direction. So
yeah, I think Nathan called him young and stupid. Like, he's just young, stupid. They want to get drunk, like the Jersey Bros. Yeah. So there were definitely some fun confessionals along the way. People let a few people have it in a fun way.
Physically, I think he's going to be a challenge to work with, but
like, do you mean like he's just like a physical beast, or like
potentially? Yeah,
okay,
I think so.
Okay.
What about our treasurer, Katie?
How did she become the treasurer again? I thought it was going to be Stacy.
Literally, they were like, Katie,
she kept saying her name.
They were like, Katie, can we trust you? And Katie was like,
she said, and I think in her confessional that she kept saying her name. And then finally they turned to her and was like, can we trust you? And she was like,
well, let me pencil her in for the mole. Oh my God. Like I didn't know how that happened because I thought it was going to be Stacy, because Stacy was the one person who got a perfect score on the quiz. And I was just like, how? Well, I thought for sure it was going to be like, what? Why would you not give it to her?
Yeah, I 100% thought it would be either Stacy or Sabrina, because Sabrina just has that energy. Stacy and Sabrina both have that energy of just, I can trust you. I don't know. Gosh. Well, we knew it wasn't going to be Lance. As soon as Lance volunteered, we knew that wasn't going to happen. So
right.
We will definitely get to that. Otherwise, Katie, thoughts?
I mean, she was fun. She was cool. If she's going to be the treasurer, something's going to happen with that money later on. The fact that they're physically giving them the mole money this year, I would be very nervous about that if I was the person who was actually playing for the money.
Which I love that they did that. I think they did that on a couple of the seasons of the Australian mole, and there's always drama with the money. Somebody either steals the money, or the money's lost, or somebody spends too much on something, or it's miscounted. So I'm very excited to see how that goes.
And I believe this is a second chance for her as well. So she says she's going to come in with a different strategy. So maybe treasurer is that way.
All right. Next up, we have Jamie. And Jamie, through this first episode, my thoughts on them turned a lot, because at the beginning of the episode, I was kind of like, oh, Jamie, not a great first impression, very low energy, maybe not able to integrate super well. But by the end of the episode, I was like, okay, Jamie's killing it. The note-taking on the arm and the hand and on all the plates, I was like, okay, Jamie's in it to win it. And I like Jamie.
I love Jamie. Jamie came into the Michigan Mole House with their own full notebook, already like pages deep written, before even getting their own notebook in the house. So they were out early in Michigan Mole. So I am praying that this is a longevity game for
now,
Jamie.
Just to be clear, like, did this tape before or after Michigan Mole?
Victory House taped before Michigan Mole.
Okay. So just for my own personal edification. Yes, exactly. Yes. So Jamie, I'm so excited that they are here for the representation of it all. Like, and when they were talking about how the fact that, that they didn't have a great situation growing up with their personal situation, but then they found their own family within the virtual online world of reality TV. I thought that was just like, that spoke to so many people who I know of personally, who were able to find friendships and beyond and real family through this world of reality TV. Obviously with the COVID era, more virtual. And now, like, as we move past the COVID era into the LRG world, like, I'm really excited about it. So congratulations, Jamie, for being here and representing. We are glad to have you.
And on top of that, I feel the intelligence. I don't know.
Yeah.
I get good vibes.
Cool. Yeah. I think quiet confidence would be the word that I would use to describe Jamie.
Very good.
Yeah.
All right. And on to Jeremy. I really like Jeremy. I feel like Jeremy is going to become a much bigger character. I don't know. Jeremy has dad energy.
Maybe that's why I didn't. Yeah, he was okay. Like, it was just a little boring. It's a little boring. Yeah.
I don't know.
I keep it real with you guys. Like, I'm sorry, it's a little boring, but it wasn't like I hated him or anything, and he definitely has possibilities to grow. But I just felt like he was quiet for the premiere episode. Like, you could have been eliminated at the end. I'm sorry. Like, they still 5 people still had to see red screens at the end. It could have been you, and your time would have been there for what?
Could it be a mole strategy?
I guess. Well, how did he do?
Oh, not well. Jeremy did not do well this episode.
No,
that's right.
And Jeremy is a very, very big mole fan as well. Extreme mole fan.
Yeah.
So I expected a little bit better of her performance. So that's why I kind of ticked the box of a mole maybe next to him.
Here's the thing. The thing about that irritates me about people who played these LRG versions of the mole is that everybody's the mole doesn't even have to sabotage because everyone else is trying to be the mole so bad.
Exactly.
That there's people who are making no money for the pot. If I was on the mole, mark my words, Drew, if I'm ever on a season of the mole, I will literally exhort everybody to just put your fucking ego aside and let's win as much money as we can for the goddamn pot. Stop looking like the goddamn mole. That way it makes the mole's job so much fucking harder and they have to try to blend in with everybody else. Like, why can't you people get it together? But there's so many people who were trying to act like they were the mole this episode.
And that's what I was saying earlier about how 75% of this cast just feels like they're there to scheme and to try to trick everybody else as opposed to actually win the game. And I think that is going to make for a very interesting season.
Yes.
I think we're going to have a lot of surprising eliminations coming in.
Well, given the fact that there's no social dynamics here really, unless there's a Big Brother round or Survivor round. There's always going to be a few surprises. Mm-hmm. There's always going to be somebody get a red screen. I remember watching season 2 of The Mole, and I every time Ame had to see her screen, I was just like, oh my God, please don't be red. Please don't be red. Please don't be red. Because I hated Ame in the first episode, but by the second episode and beyond, I was living for her. And I loved her at the end of that show. So when she came within 1 point of winning, I was there. I was living the dream with her. But oh my gosh, if you can avoid seeing your screen in the first episode, you got a gift from the heavens. And these people were lucky.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Let's move on to Evan, who was definitely a bigger character in this episode.
He was funny.
He was funny.
He was bitchy. Yeah.
Yep. All I have written down is overly confident ? Because I don't know that he particularly has a reason to be. Everybody's coming in on the same playing field. So I don't know why it seemed like he was oh yeah, I'm definitely I'm going to win this.
I didn't mind that. You might as well say you're going to win it. What the hell? If you end up winning it, you look like a fucking genius. And if you don't win it, what the heck? So he was the one who was from Illinois. He was an auditor. He plays board games.
Yeah, lots
social
of board
deduction
games.
Yes. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
He was also the one who found the clue, but then Lance also saw the clue or something. So was that even real? That was real, right? Because they did other fake stuff. Remember he was I found the clue. That was the gibberish the gibberish letter.
Yes.
He found the gibberish letter, but Lance also saw it. So he was well, I wanted to work with Lance, but then they got into that fight about who was going to carry the money because Lance wanted to be the money.
Yeah.
Anyway, yes.
I think they have to end up working together because it's mentioned so many times from Evan specifically. I want to work with Lance. I want to work with Lance.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Definitely.
We'll see what happens.
Evan is a very smart guy coming into Michigan Mole. I expected him to be a top contender, and he actually was one of the early ones out as well. So seeing him, start some drama in this one where he was quiet in Michigan Mole, I liked that. So
how many people that are on this cast were on the Michigan Mole? I've heard. I didn't realize there was
Jamie and Sabrina, I believe, were the only ones on Michigan Mole.
3 of them? Okay,
yes.
Cool. All right, cool.
On the same season?
Yes.
Man, they got the mole fever, man. They were just you know what? That leads me to believe that they didn't do well, and they were you know what? I need to go make up for my bad performance.
Or maybe one of them was the mole and wanted to play as the non-mole.
We'll see.
All right, up next, my favorite player probably so far, Michelle.
Me too.
Love Michelle.
Yes.
I love Michelle.
Yes. I'll just say this, Carlo. I don't know if you picked Michelle to be the mole, but you should have. You should have picked Michelle to be the mole because I'm really going to be sad if Michelle gets red screened out of this game. I love Michelle.
Agreed.
And it's so fun because I'm going to be real. I typically identify with the males. I'm putting it out there. That's my bias. I typically identify with the males on reality TV. So the fact that she won me over says a lot about her personal whatever she has inside of her. It's just magnetic on reality TV. Like she was absolutely irresistible when she was giving her confessionals about Lance and about some other people and the tea that she had. She did it in a really fun kind of bitchy way, but not in like a really mean way. It was just like in a kind of way, and like it was just like her delivery was just spot on. Michelle, I absolutely loved you. Thank you for playing season 3 of The Mole, and I really hope you are there for a long time. Please don't go out.
Yes, agree completely. Up next we have Stacy, who again, love Stacy. Zach, what were your thoughts on Stacy?
Stacy, love her. She got 12 out of 12 in that matching game, so beast. I feel like I know her, but I don't know her, and I want to get to know her so bad. So
yeah, I definitely want to learn more about Stacy. So hopefully we get more of her.
Yeah, I mean, like honestly, when I saw Stacy, I was like, okay, you're like Karen, Big Brother 5. From Big Brother Canada season 5, like that's what it came out. She came up as the older, like chain smoking woman who's like kind of the mom of the house. Like, she's a little crazy, a little kooky. Like, is there more to see than that? Like, I don't know. We'll see.
I agree.
Yeah.
Up next, Josh. I have nothing written down besides
young
Josh.
Gay. Bye. Like I don't know if he actually is, but like he was annoying the shit out of me at times. He's the one that he's the other half of the Jersey Bros. Nathan called. But he was annoying at times, funny at times. Seemed like he was there for a good time. I don't really know how much he was paying attention to his surroundings. Like think about. Here's the thing. The real ABC or wherever that way, it might even be on Netflix now, whatever, a season of The Mole that they do has nothing on whatever Carlo and company are doing over here, because there are so many details that you have to remember. Like, did you see the numbers? Like when they passed out the envelopes, it was like 1, 2, 3, 4, and you're expecting like 5, 6, 7, 8, but no, it was like 7, 8, 10, and 12 or something. Like,
exactly.
You know that shit's gonna come up at the end of a quiz sometime. So I don't know if he's really paying attention, Josh, but God bless him. Hope you do well.
Yeah, I feel like we didn't hear much from Josh in confessionals. I think we got like 1 or 2 solid confessionals from him, but I don't know. I don't have any opinions on Josh, which I guess is not great, but could be worse.
Could be worse.
I feel like I have, like, time will have to tell with me as well.
And last but not least, we have probably enough. Again, I feel like I say this with everybody. One of my favorite players on the season.
Oh my God! Is there such a Siri? That's why you guys have me here to keep it real. There are people on this cast who are not very good television. Okay, there are people who are here who literally are wallpaper. I will tell you who they are.
Well, Steven is not wallpaper in my opinion.
He is not. Yeah.
Steven has that calm and collected energy similar to Sabrina. I mean, I feel like he might be a little bit better socially. That's the impression I got than Sabrina. But he was very. I saw Steven a lot in the background, like watching, very like mental notes.
Is that what you were doing? I see. I found myself watching Steven. So.
Oh.
He's very handsome. He was serving us like I said in the comments, like preppy stockbroker. Like he was like with that little jacket and whatnot. And also, did you see his hands? His hands are fucking huge. When he had lifted up, he lifted up his hands. This is before they got the notebooks. He lifted up his hands. I swear he had notes written on his freaking hands.
Yeah, he did.
Yes.
He did.
Oh my God.
He had them all up his arm too. And
Crazy.
I was like,
these people are nuts. Wait, who was it last year? Matt wasn't it Ame's boyfriend? I don't know if she's still with him. I hope she is. If she's not, I'm sorry. But like, if Matt was the guy who didn't take notes. He didn't take notes on anything, and he made it like halfway through the entire show. Like, you don't need to take that many notes on everything. Yep. What are you people doing? Go out there and have a good time.
I don't know. On the real show, they ask specific questions like, "What color socks was the mole wearing? Like, what color bracelet did the mole have on?" I don't know. I guess these people know what they're doing.
All right.
Steven says it right there, writing notes all up his hand and arm.
That's what I thought. Yes, when there was a moment in time where he had it, like they were sitting there, like in a circle in the living room, and he like had his hand up, and then all his notes were right there.
I love that. That's good strategy, I guess. If you don't have a journal, then what else are you going to do?
It was a little
coffee
tedious.
Filters.
Yeah. So it was fun. I gave them a little fun to play with in the editing of this episode. It was a little tedious watching these people talk about how the fact that like they didn't have journals, and like that was the storyline of the first episode, was like so many people didn't have journals and they were writing on other things. After a while, that gets played out a little. I would just assume give everybody a goddamn journal and let's move on with the goddamn game. Can we just?
I'm sure everybody else will get the next episode, and then I'm sure some Switch will be thrown out where people have to swap journals.
I hope. Please give them journals in the next episode. I cannot put up with Jamie and Steven and whoever the hell doesn't. Who else doesn't have a journal? I couldn't even keep track of who does have a journal.
I think like 4 or 5 people didn't get journals.
Yeah. Okay. I don't see them carrying around paper plates to the quiz anymore, Carlo.
Please.
Well, let's actually jump into the formatting of the episode. So we start off with the promotion for Victory House Big Brother 15, which was a very dramatic trailer. And then we actually get into the episode. And here is where I will have a negative opinion, Brent.
Oh, yay! Let's hear it.
I thought that the first 5 to 7 minutes of the episode were very all over the place and a little bit disjointed. Like, we didn't really get a formal introduction. We had a lot of throwbacks to the previous seasons with the hacker and stuff. And I, coming in blind, was like, what is going on? We're seeing people sitting at a table drinking. I'm like, what is going on? But then once we actually got into the idea of the movie genres, I was like, okay, I'm with it now. I'm just going to ignore the entire 7 minutes that has just happened before this and focus on what's happening now. I don't know. How did you guys feel?
I mean, I guess I'm used to Carlo's editing, so and that sounds like shade. That's not shade. I'm just used to the way they do things here. It's very meta. It's very in-house. Like you need to have watched previous seasons of The Mole to get all of their little in jokes and all of their references and whatnot. And if you don't, you're going to be a little bit behind. So I was prepared coming into the episode, so I got most of the things. I will say that I did notice, for instance, I think the Joker chips came up early on, and then other people brought them in. It wasn't until the 40-minute mark where a little thing came on screen and explained what the fuck a Joker chip is. Obviously, a Joker chip gives you an extra point on the quiz. If you're scared about you being the lowest on the quiz, you can use a Joker chip, but you have to use it when you're taking the quiz, and you can't use it after. Yeah, or you can save it for another time. So that's an instance of something where I felt like the editing was a little bit behind in terms of people who are trying to hop onto the show. The thing about this season of The Mole is I feel like they had a really successful season 2, and I feel like they're primed for success with season 3. Again, we're still at the very end of the COVID era here. A lot of people still have habits of watching things online, so there's a lot of possibility for the people to really jump on the show. But I feel like the lesser meta references, the better, if they can keep them out. But invariably, you know what? They're having a good time and they don't give a fuck. So it's like 6 of one, half dozen of another.
Right. Yes. And ultimately that editing didn't really matter, because once we actually get into the episode, it's like, oh, okay, I know what we're doing now.
Yeah. So apparently they had a get to know you period on Thursday. No elimination, no game, no mole, no strategy talk, no nothing. It was just getting to know you on Thursday night, and then Friday morning is when they started the actual game. And these people got very unlucky, because apparently there was a thunderstorm that rolled into the area there, and they had to play the mole, at least for the first day, in the rain. And so I'm sure that's going to continue on into the next episode or two.
Yes. So actually going into the game, Zach, do you want to explain sort of the overarching theme of the season?
Yeah. So sounded like it was Hunger Games. And sounds more like it came from Jessica, maybe. So just throwing that out there. It sounded like she was really super excited for this kind of theme. So yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Raise your hands. Am I the only person when she said, "Are you going to be Team PETA?" I was like, I thought she meant the Animal Protection Agency.
Originally, yes.
Once I kind of got okay, we're doing a different movie genre every episode, and we're clearly doing the Hunger Games this episode, I was like, okay, I'm with it.
Yeah, I mean, you know what? They're having a theme. They have, we always like a theme at a party, and this is a
It's
party.
fun.
So
Yeah.
yes, yes.
It does no
always
harm.
up for a theme. So.
Yes.
It does no harm. So
Yes.
it gets explained to us that there will be 3 tasks this episode, 2 group tasks, and then, well, really 1 group task and then 2 individual tasks. But our first task is training day, and for this, we have 4 different sort of areas that people can go into, which I liked that these were all that people could choose
and they could
area.
select them. Yes.
Yes, I did like that. Do we know if there was like a limit on number of people who could
I'm
do
guessing
each one?
4 because
it looked like 4.
I'm guessing 4. Like if you signed up and you were number 5, you were shit out of luck. So they had axe throwing, mix and matching, balancing the marbles on that board, and then something with the I didn't understand the puzzles with the arrows. Can somebody explain that to me?
Either, but some
whatever
mental strategy, something
I
that
suppose.
some of them were good at and some of them were not.
Yes.
That section was very quick. It was just kind of like, okay, this person scored this person scored this person scored this.
There was a limit to 3 or 4.
It had to be 4. It had to be 4. Yeah.
We actually missed. We completely jumped over where they got split into districts.
Oh yeah, districts. So
Zach.
yes. So they go ahead, Zach. If you know what they are, go ahead.
We kind of touched on it before because they were missing a couple of the districts, but
yes. So they had districts, and you were going to be with your partner, and like one person on the team had to be more like Katniss, and one person on the team had to be more like Peeta.
Yeah. One person had to be smart, one person had to be strong.
Yes. And so like they drew their names out of a bowl. Sabrina got with Dre, Joel with Katie, and then I think we got their little introductions at the beginning. So those were the first 2 pairs. Then Nathan with Stacy, Parker and Josh was one of the male pairs. Then Lance and Michelle. That's a very fun pair.
That's a fun pair.
Like the mole gods were with us on that one. Jamie and Steven were together, and Jeremy and Evan were together, and they all have to decide which one of these 4 activities they're going to do. Basically, like we could go into each activity, but let me just narrow it down and tell you there were a couple people that are sus and a couple people that did really, really good. So on the axe throwing, Dre and Jeremy did freaking terrible. Like Steven doesn't even know what the hell he's doing. And
Jeremy got like a 2 or something.
He got 5. Technically, he got 5 out of 12, which isn't even 50%. And he was apparently practicing and doing really well. But again, this is some idiot who probably is trying to be the mole instead of like actually is the mole. But then again, I have to say, looking back at season 2 and Peaches and all that, the way they play their moles on Victory House, they like them sabotaging from the beginning. So to me, anybody who got like 8 and above on any of their scores, I'm ruling out as the mole. Like I really think that even Sabrina, I know she got 8 out of 12 on her mix and match thing. I would be shocked.
Pairs, though,
I think. Exactly. I would be shocked if she was the mole.
Now, Brent, do you know if in this version of the mole, if production tells the mole how to sabotage, or if it's up to the mole?
I would assume. I mean, like I would. Well, I don't know. Carl, maybe they're in the chat. They can tell us. I would assume that the production tells them all, like, do that, just like on the regular TV show. They tell them, okay, we want you to be Team Katniss, or we want you to do this. They try to be this, and obviously sometimes that happens and sometimes it doesn't, and the mole has to improvise. But I'm sure they tell them as much as they want to tell them, and then the mole has to try to improvise and try to make it look good along the way. So yeah, I don't know the answer to that, but I'm assuming they are in close contact with the mole.
Sure. So we also are told, as well as the players are told, that if they can earn up to $140, that no one will be eliminated on this first elimination. I completely misunderstood this sort of like formatting or layout thing. I don't know. Zach, do you want to explain it to the people listening?
I totally got it. So every $10 earned saved one agent from having their name revealed or having to be typed in at the execution ceremony. So essentially, like, if all 14 of them had completed and earned $10, then nobody would have to get their name entered and all would be safe.
Yes, exactly. So, like, the fact that it ended up at the end where they earned 90 some odd dollars, I mean, that 9 people didn't have to see their screens. Now, here's the thing. One of those 14 people got the lowest score.
Yep.
One of those 14 people would have been executed in this round.
But it wasn't one of the people who volunteered.
Yes, exactly. But that person, whoever that person was, is one of the 9 people that got saved because they earned enough money and were exempt from having to see their screen. The 5 people who they revealed would have gotten a green screen anyway if they had just earned zero money the entire time.
I guess my question is, what is the incentive for volunteering? Because either way, you either pass or fail.
They're stupid. I wouldn't have volunteered.
I think maybe the incentive of volunteering is not having to have a random draw.
But
but either way,
if you volunteer, you're 100%. If you draw, it's only like 10%.
Right.
Like, why would you not wait to be drawn? These people who I don't know. You're lucky I don't remember who. You're lucky I don't remember who volunteered to see their screen at the end, because I would rip every one of you a goddamn new asshole. Like, that was terrible. What were you doing?
Jeremy did. I don't know. But. Yeah, and then wasn't it somebody's task? They had to get like 3 people to volunteer.
That was fake. Wasn't that fake? That was fake. Yeah.
That was it.
Somebody wrote that down. Wasn't it Evan? Yeah. The funny part was, like, it wasn't Michelle was talking about the fact that, like, it was very girly writing, but I think it was Evan who wrote it or something.
Yeah.
Was it Evan who wrote it, or was it Josh?
Josh, maybe. I don't know. It was some guy. Some guy wrote it. I don't know. Whatever. It was fake. It wasn't to do with anything with production. It was fake. So whatever.
So, anyways, moving on to the second task, we have the Cornucopia, where the players are trying to earn their journals and also more money for the pot.
Thank you, Dre wrote it.
That's hilarious. And so the players are given a set of clues as to what color egg and what number egg will lead to what sort of reward.
This shit was tough. Not only were they out there in the freaking rain the entire time, they're looking at a board that it's like a riddle board where, you know, you have to look like there are 14 eggs that have blank. There are 2 eggs that have blank. There are 5 red colored eggs that have this many things. This has a power. This has a journal. Like, you're trying to cross-reference
clue to this
things with other things that you might like. I love Michelle's confessional where Michelle, God love you. You're trying to basically get, like, the magic egg. She wanted the egg that has everything that she could ever hope and dream for.
But a journal, an execution, a joker, all of it.
She did not get that. There was no egg like that, unfortunately. Sabrina seemed like she knew what she wanted to get really quickly. Yep. She wanted to get a journal, and she got money. She was good to go. Again, I do not think that Sabrina is the mole, but I still wonky about how she did on the matching quiz. Again, she only got 8 out of 12. I still think she should have got 12 out of 12, but who am I to judge? Just saying.
Let me ask a very fair question.
Yes.
In this task, why did someone not just say, everybody shut up, let's work together and figure out how we can get the most money and also all get our journals? Because that's my first thought, is to be like, everybody shut up, listen, let's get this together. Let's all get our journals so we're all in the same playing field and all also get money, instead of all of us doing our own thing and running around and then some of us getting screwed.
I mean, it's a fair point. Either they didn't think of it, or maybe they did and it was edited out, or they're just stupid. I'm going to go with the last one. I mean, like, I don't know. Like, I listen, if I was on the mole, I don't know that I would think to say, okay, like, everybody stop. Of course, wait, then again, I did that on Sequester.
I was going to say, you literally done that before.
I don't know. Like, you know, who knows? I don't know what, nobody apparently has the balls to stand up and say, like, everybody stop. Let's do it together. Like, come on, let's work together and everybody will get what they want. Like, apparently they just didn't think of that. I guess not.
I think it goes back to what I was saying, what I've repeated multiple times. Everybody's here for themselves. They don't really care about the money. They just want to win and they want to screw everybody else over. So when you're put in this situation where you can either help yourself or help the team, these people are choosing themselves. I don't know. Zach, what were your thoughts on this task?
Was it Lance and Michelle that I think slowed down for a second and said, okay, let's get the 2 eggs that needed to match up or something like that? Mm-hmm. I think it was them. But I thought, I mean, that would have been a great strategy, Drew. But yeah, I think it was a crazy challenge to stare at a little board and then run out and try to find, this odd number and this color and get what you want.
It's very mole oriented. The thing about the mole is that it's like, especially this version of the mole, like you cannot play along at home. There is no way that I can look, because they show that little screen of like the list of things and all the things that have the powers and the number of things. There's no way you can figure that out at home in like the 3 seconds that it's on screen. Then you're watching people run around and try to get it. Like, I mean, basically you're just along for the ride when you're a member of somebody watching the mole. The great thing about the mole is that you can then go back and watch it a second and a third time to see like, oh, okay, this is how they figured out, like, it's
pause
like Sabrina wanted a journal and money. This is how she did that. Like, I see it now. But in the real moment, in real time, there's no possible way.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. So everybody gets their rewards or punishments. Oh, thanks, Parker.
Thanks, Parker.
I try.
Thanks, Parker. Call me.
So then we get everybody getting their rewards, their clues, their journals, their punishments, whatever. I didn't keep track of that. I don't know if any of you guys did. Is there
didn't either.
Anything relevant that happened in that section?
I think Jeremy got negative $5.
He
was the only with negative, yeah.
Which that's 2 strikes against Jeremy. Just.
Oh, I know, right? Can you imagine if the producer, if he's the mole, and the production told him, okay, make sure you pick like journal or package number 12 or whatever, and it has negative money in it. Like, can you imagine? Like, yeah. I can see them doing that because that's what they do. They tell them what to do. You know that, right?
Right.
Just saying.
So then we go to our third task, which is an individual task, but also like a team individual task. Zach, do you want to lay that out for us?
Yeah, it was the arena that goes. Their smarter partner stood up front and answered true or false, and then the strength partner had to hold a pole with a golf ball on the top of it, and that was the only thing that scared the crap out of me, was a golf ball coming down and cracking somebody in the head. But thankfully it didn't happen to anybody. So
it was very fun to watch. I have to say, this was like right out of Survivor. This challenge was the challenge that Russell won to beat Brett at the end of Survivor 19, if Brett had won that challenge, he literally would have won $1 million. It's like where every time you get a question wrong, you have to add a piece of the pole and move your arm down so your pole gets bigger and bigger. A lot of fun to watch. I really thought that it was going to go the other way at the end, but our boy Joel pulled it out.
Wind. Yep.
Yes. The wind. Yes, I was dying when that happened. The mole gods unleashed a vicious gust of wind that just came along, and was it Dre who was in competition with him? And and he lost his balls. Sorry, Dre.
Lost his ball.
Yeah.
So.
But I think to comment on the smart part, I believe Sabrina didn't miss a single question in that.
That's a fair point.
Ray didn't need to start until adding polls until everybody was finished with the questions, and everybody had to start adding polls. So for every question you missed, you had to add a piece of poll, and then after they were done with all the questions, there were still multiple people left. So then every 2 minutes or something? I don't know. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Then they added everybody, even people who were perfect up until that point, had to add a piece of poll. But obviously they started at a much lower trajectory than people who had been missing questions all along and had polls that were like 10 feet high. So, yeah. And like we said, Joel pulled it out.
Yes, he
Joel
did.
Pulled it out, and he won.
Him and Katie.
Yes.
And they won the silver screen. What did
they win? I forgot. And I was rewatching the episode, and I like basically it was like in the last 10 minutes, and I ran out of time. So what did they win again?
So Katie and Joel got to take a trip to the Spy Shack, which is always the thing about
the spy supply.
Which that whole concept was very new to me, and so when that was introduced. That was introduced, I was like, "Oh, we can buy advantages." This is fun.
So they earned a certain amount of money. That money determined how many people would have to see their screens at the end of the episode. But then, Joel and Katie get to go to the Spy Supply store that has various powers in it that you can buy. But in doing so, that money comes out of the pot. And obviously,
the difference this year, though, is that it comes out at the end for the winner. So I do like that difference this year, that they're using credit.
Yes.
And the moles purchases will also come out of the winners total at the end.
Yes.
Which is fun. So they go to the little store, the Shake Shack.
Yeah, I mean, like basically, like this is what we were talking about before with like the Jokers and a little bit of the meta of the show.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're somebody who comes from the Mole ABC, or you just learned about it on Netflix, you don't know what the fuck this is. This is like, what is this? Like, this does not happen on the real Mole. It's called the Spy Supplies Store, and it's where somebody can go in and buy a power who won the initial challenge that they compete on every episode of the Mole on this particular series. But obviously no one knows who has that particular power. And the great thing about this particular episode was because both of them went in, you saw them both talk about the fact that they could have both bought a power, but they decided not to do so that it would cover their tracks about who actually has the power. So if at some point there is there are maybe something coming up where you could give a disadvantage to somebody and try to get somebody eliminated, they don't want either one of them to be culpable for having a specific power. So only one of them selected a power. Now, Zach, who got the power and what was the power? I forget.
Yes, what was the power?
Well, they took clean slate, and I don't know exactly who has it. I don't believe they said who has it, but I'm gonna guess maybe Katie has it because maybe Joel got the silver screen, which was the exemption.
Yeah, but we don't know how you won that though, right?
Which is why I'm thinking maybe Katie let.
Okay.
I don't know.
So let's back up. So if you're in the comments and you know who won the power in the first episode of the Spy Supply, sorry, what
Shake Shack.
I know, right?
Shake Shack.
Just call it the Spy Shack. Just make everyone a lot more happy. Can they just do that? Oh, but yeah. So somebody won the power. We don't know who. But then, right when they're getting ready to see their screens, Joel, who also happened to be in the pair of the people that won the opportunity to go to the Spy Supply Store, gets pulled out. And he gets silver screened. He gets the silver screen power, or it's played on him. We don't know how this happened. We don't know if somebody played it on him. We don't know if he mysteriously picked the right journal or the right egg or the right package or somewhere along the way. But somehow he got the opportunity to go to the silver screen. And what happened there, Zach?
So this says Katie bought the power. How players got to see the silver screen was not disclosed to any of us.
That's correct. Yes.
Oh, okay.
Just like we thought. Katie got the power, and we don't know how the hell the silver screen thing happened. But obviously he did something. Yes.
But yeah, Joel had to just watch some weird movie that looked like it was in reverse, and that was it.
Yeah, so that was it. And he didn't have to see his screen. That was important. So he could not have been one of the people, even if they went to I know that people ended up volunteering as tribute at the end, like idiots. But even if they hadn't, he would not have been in the drawing to potentially see his screen at the end. So he had made it past the first episode, and that's why he was so excited.
Exactly.
Yes.
I've thought about taking the time to dissect the silver screen film that he saw to try to write down clues, but I decided to not do that, because I want the full Joel experience and being just as clueless as he seemed to be at the end of the episode, because he saw that and he was like, that's it?
That's it? I thought I won something. He's literally there's been times in reality TV where people have won something. Oh, wasn't it oh God. Who's the girl who is Dominic's girlfriend who was on All Stars last year on Big Brother? What's her name? Dark hair. Danielle.
Danielle.
The Evil Dick's daughter. Yeah, she won a power last year, and then she walked in and she got the power from the diary room, and it was literally the most stupid thing ever. She could play in the next HOH competition. She was so mad about that. That was exactly like Joel felt at the end of this.
And it was also just because of what the film was. He was like, oh, okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So obviously, I feel like that has to be some sort of clue. Exactly, Sabrina. A mystery to us as well, and we aren't even playing. But yeah, he watched it. He was very confused, and that's our episode 1. Lots of action, lots of character development. Oh yes,
I do remember the hippo.
Mm-hmm.
I remember something with a barrel. I don't know,
mm-hmm.
but thoughts overall on the episode, Zach?
I enjoyed it. Nobody went home, which was kind of bummer, but maybe next episode we'll see 1 or 2 red screens. Who knows? And I'm interested to see how this silver screen twist plays out with the Trojan malware. I'm excited for the next episode. Can't wait.
Yeah.
So yeah, I have the opposite opinion. I was actually really glad that nobody went home. I love most of these people. But I'm into all of these people. It's even if I don't like you, you're still somebody who I relate to on some level. I'm actually glad they've done this a few times on RuPaul's Drag Race where they didn't eliminate somebody.
Say, as long as we don't pull a season 13 and have like 4 non-eliminations.
No, I'm sure that's not going to happen. I'm sure like they just wanted to have one episode where we got to know these people, got to have some fun, got to be introduced to the cast, and off we go. And next episode, I'm sure at some point we're going to get a double execution or something.
Yeah.
But you know what? That's the thing. It's not today. So we got to go forward to episode 2. We still have all 14 people. All of these people could be them all. But let me tell you, on my list of suspects, Jeremy is at the top of my list. Dre is definitely a possibility, although he could just be dumb. All the people that played the marbles did absolutely terrible. Lance, Evan, and Nathan. On the other hand, that looked ridiculously tough.
Yes, I agree.
Ridiculously tough. Carlo, that was satanic. That was terrible. Like giving those people that marble board to try and balance. Again, it was a little play on Survivor. Like they've had things like that on Survivor before, but it did not act like the boards on Survivor. Like those marbles like zoomed down. There was one time where I think Lance, he put like a marble at the end of the board and he let it go and it literally like flew off the thing. Because he had the board at such an angle. So those people, again, I'm still going to go with Jeremy number 1, Dre number 2. Parker only got half on the matching. I'm looking at you. And also Josh was the lowest on the puzzle as well. And none of those people did particularly well except for Dre in the individual challenge at the end where they were holding it up. So... yeah, I still say Jeremy. Jeremy is the mole. I'm going to go with that. Let's see if I get it right.
Jeremy would be a super obvious mole, but...
You think so? I think, Lance or Sabrina or Parker or Joel, any of the returnees, I think they would be the mole more...
Yeah, I just mean obvious in the fact that he did so badly in this episode, money-wise.
Mm-hmm. But you can also say, I'm just pretending to be the mole. I want to throw people off. I'm just trying to throw people off, man.
I think... Jeremy's definitely in my top 3 suspects. I also have probably Nathan and Jamie are my other 2 because I kind of see them in the background a lot, and both of them are they're observing a lot. They're paying attention to how other people interact a lot. Mm-hmm. I'm gonna say Nathan's probably my guess for the week, but I honestly have no idea. I have zero concept.
Well, if Nathan's the mole, then Sabrina's not long for this game because they're going to be working together, which means she's going to be in a coalition with the mole, which means she's probably going to be out pretty soon. So That's not good.
I do have Jeremy. I have Steven potentially because he kind of hung out in the back there. Mm-hmm. I do potentially have Nathan. Mm-hmm. I don't have any females on my list yet. That's
how it always is, though, because
to start.
Yeah, last year I didn't even know who Peaches was. I'm just being real. For the first 3 episodes. But then toward the end, you saw a little bit of her mole-ish behavior, even though it was there all the entire time. The thing with as far as the females go, you really have to jump out and grab our attention. Otherwise, or be a known quantity like Sabrina is. Otherwise, I don't know that I'm going to get a chance to know you. Stacy, I feel like she's so different from the other girls. Yep. It's impossible not to remember who she is and what she's like. She's the one who's got the cigarette. She got the 12 out of 12 on the quiz. She's a little bit older than the rest of the cast. It's easy for me to peg her. Michelle, somebody else. Great confessionals, very funny, made
big
you
personality.
Laugh. Yes, exactly. Sabrina, very calculated, very smart. Seems
Katie's
like she knows what she's doing. Yes.
It could be Katie. Katie would be, out of the females, the one that I would expect the most, probably.
She was the one who was saying her name, who do you want to be the treasurer? Katie? Katie. What about Katie? Katie? Anybody want to do Katie? Yeah.
Oh, me?
Oh, you guys picked me? Wow, thank you.
I heard someone say my name. I don't know. Yeah. But Yes, I am very excited to see where this season goes. Great premiere episode. Any other thoughts before we close it out?
No, I just want to say great job, you guys. So Carlo and team, anybody, Ben, Jessica, Craig, who had anything to do with the editing or the creation of the show, you guys are doing an amazing job. It's a lot of fun work. The thing that I tell people is that it's not the easiest show to jump into, but it's got a lot of heart. Like anybody who plays the mole really wants to be there and they want to have a good time. And I feel like that, like, just in and of itself can carry a show so much when you have a great cast that really loves what they're doing and loves being there. We didn't lose anybody, so that's great. And I feel like it gives an opportunity to give a really good anchor moving into the second episode. You can, if you haven't watched the first episode already, you can still go back and watch it. It's on YouTube, and like get to know these people, and then we'll watch who's going to have their heart broken when they get red screened in episode 2, most likely.
Yeah, I'm nervous for that red screen. Don't want to lose any of my multitude of favorites early on.
Hey,
Definitely.
Stacy. Yes.
But yes, I'm very excited for the next episode. And, you know, just donate to the LBS fund and help somebody out.
In the arms of an angel.
Well, with that being said, and with that being sung, we will see you next week. At least Zach and I will.
Yes, thank you guys for having me, by the way. I basically
Yes.
I elbowed my way onto this episode because I know I'm going to be covering Big Brother next Wednesday. So I was like, this is my one opportunity to talk about them all. And I love this show, so let me talk about them all. But you guys were really sweet to have me. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I had a good time.
So happy to have you.
Yeah, it was great to have you.
Thank you, guys.
And tune in next week and see who our special guest will be next week as well.
See ya. Bye.